Hey there. Welcome to What Dog. No, wait.
Scratch that.
Don't be stupid.
Greetings. Greetings, fellow
Greetings.
humans.
Lowly humans. Okay. All right, here we go. Hey there. Welcome to What Dogs Really Want, a podcast where we ditch some old school myths, we discuss challenges that dogs are experiencing in the modern world, and explore what our dogs need to thrive. We are your hosts. There's Maren,
Hello.
Alana,
Hi.
and me, I'm Stefanie. And each week we're going to talk about canine behavior looking through the lens of ethology, enrichment, and empathy. So, we do want to clarify that our podcast was created to express our feelings, share anecdotes, and discuss how we can better support the dogs we love. We don't wish to offend anyone. Our goal is just to view life from a dog's perspective and explore how we can all adjust our behavior to give our dogs the best life possible.
And this week we are continuing on our adventure of exploring the different breed groups. We're going to be doing it this week, and next week will be our final one. This week we are diving deeper into Sight Hounds, Terriers, and gun dogs. And then next week we'll do our final two, which are natural dogs and guardians. So, yeah, we will get into it. And I believe I'm up first with Sight Hounds.
You sure are.
So,
And go.
if we're ready, all right. Pull up my research. Sight hounds. Sight hounds have been bred for thousands of years, and they are actually one of the oldest dog types that we have traced all the way back to ancient Egypt, where we have found depictions of Saluki-like dogs, which I think is very cool. Sight hounds are used to hunt prey using their keen eyesight and their speed rather than using scent, like the scent hounds we talked about last week. Many people already know, I think, that these dogs are basically the cheetahs of the dog world, if you've ever seen a greyhound run, or any sight hound for that matter. But what I didn't quite realize, which was really stupid of me, because it's literally in the name, but I didn't quite realize how good their eyesight was. But it makes sense because they're tracking and hunting really fast prey like rabbits and deer. So they have to be really in tune, and they have to be able to detect even the slightest movement or motion in order to hunt and track these animals. What's interesting about their eyesight that I found out was that because of their head shape, which is so narrow and long, and how their eyes are kind of on the sides of their face rather than in the front of their face like other dogs, this gives them a really wide field of vision, but it does impact their depth perception. So I think it's not proven, but there are studies showing that their depth perception is probably a bit worse than other dogs. But that's just because of the way their eyes are placed to give them a wider field of vision for when they're tracking their prey and keeping an eye out for whatever they're hunting. I think that's very interesting.
That is.
So, in comparison to like a pug whose eyes are right on the front of their face with their flat little face, they can see in front of them, but they can't really, they don't have the peripheral vision that sight hounds do. They're kind of like horses.
Yeah,
So
they are. Yeah.
they are
Like
like horses.
form follows function, like they're
Yeah,
the perfect
exactly.
example.
It's funny
Or
you mentioned that
fish.
because I'm going to get into their form right now.
Okay.
Sight hounds are also very well known for their really deep chests and skinny bodies. Their deep chest is made specifically to contain their large hearts. They have larger hearts than any other dog breeds, and really efficient lungs, obviously to support the cardio that they do, both aerobic and anaerobic exercise when they're doing their sprinting and hunting. They're all I Yeah, so they're really unique in their look. I think it's really always recognizable when a dog is mixed with a sight hound just because of their unique body composition. And of course, all of that body composition has been selectively bred in order to help them do their jobs the most efficiently that they can. And what we learned recently, because I feel like in Arizona at least, sight hounds aren't really a big thing in Arizona. Like you don't see them around that much. But now that I've been living in the UK, there are a ton of sight hounds, specifically greyhounds, because there's a big rescue in Glasgow that is for like ex racing greyhounds. So they're everywhere. I'm always seeing greyhounds with their little sweaters on.
That's
But as I
cool.
was saying, what we learned recently is that a lurcher dog is just like an umbrella term for any sort of dog mixed with a sight hound. So it's basically like a doodle, but way cooler. And I had never really, I had never like heard the term
Uh-oh.
lurcher before, but now I feel like I'm like getting into my sight hounds, and I'm like, that is so cool because I didn't really know that that was a thing. That like obviously dog breeds can mix with any sort of dog breed, but when you're thinking about like mixes, you don't really think about like, an Australian cattle dog mixing with like a greyhound, but that's a lurcher. Anything mixed with a sight hound is a lurcher, which I thought was cool. Just a cool little like sight hound mutt. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, sight hounds,
They're cool looking too. They're really
they
neat.
are cool
They
looking.
are.
And like
They're neat
they
animals.
like the lurchers, like they do look so unique, and they're often, I think, a bit stockier, but they still have that pronounced deep chest, skinnier waist, because it's so like that's a sight hound. And sight hounds were also used, just really quickly, they were also used as symbols of status and wealth, which my toy dogs last week were, but sight hounds were as well, just because they are so like noble and regal, which if you've ever seen a borzoi, I think you can agree, like that dog looks like it'd give you like a prophecy in the woods. Like, so it makes sense that they were like used as a symbol of like nobility. But so
Not a lie.
I think though the sight hounds are obviously like a lot more intense and powerful than a lot of people may think and may give them credit for. Just for example, Afghan hounds were bred to be native to Afghanistan's mountains, and they were used to hunt leopards. And
Oh, I didn't know
Whoa.
that.
yeah,
Wow.
and
Wow.
borzois from Russia and Irish wolfhounds, obviously from Ireland, were both bred to. Any guesses what they were bred to do?
Well, since they're called a wolfhound, I would say go after wolves.
Hunt wolves in really harsh climates. Obviously, the Russian climate's probably harsher than the Irish climate, but still, I think that's
Dang.
like these dogs are like intense. Like, and I feel like a lot of people just think that they're like very, because they are just very kind of like serene and gentle and like laid back. But like these dogs were bred to hunt leopards and wolves, which is
That's
crazy.
crazy.
It's
But I've
crazy.
heard, tell me if this is true since you're the researcher on Sighthounds, but I've heard that that
Oh,
is why that's why they're often so chill because it's conservation of energy at its finest. Like
that
if
does
you're
make
going to be
sense.
out there kicking ass with those big animals, then you're going to rest up waiting for those moments to happen.
Yeah, that does make sense. I guess it's similar to like a guardian dog. Like they're just kind of
Yeah.
Mm.
chilling all day until they hear that coyote in the distance. Then they're like, go, go, go. So it probably is similar for sight hounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not lazy.
Dang.
You're
No,
just
not lazy, just
storing up your
waiting. They're
energy.
waiting to see a leopard outside of your house.
No. It'll
um,
come any day now.
I know, we're just waiting one day.
I mean, it did happen close to you when you were pet
Oh
sitting
my
Briggs
God,
at
I
one
know.
time.
Too bad Briggs isn't a Saluki. I know this one, yeah, little anecdote that has nothing to do with anything, but I was dog sitting one of my favorite dogs, Briggs, the little long-haired dachshund, and he lives right by kind of like a mountain preserve. And I go to dog sit, and just a little backstory about me. One of my biggest like, what is that called? Like an
Fear,
unrealistic,
phobias.
fear.
Oh, no, I know what you're thinking of, but I
What is
can't
that
think of the
called?
name.
Paranoia?
No, leave it in the comments.
She's diagnosing you.
Sure, one of my biggest
That's what
paranoias. No, one
I
of
don't
my
know.
biggest
It's
like
really early.
my like biggest like irrational fears
Oh, irrational. Got it.
is like
I thought I had like a special term.
no, like an irrational fear of mine is like big cats because like like obviously we have mountain lions in Arizona and like I don't think there's big cats in Scotland.
I
So
forgot to tell you that when you were a child,
no.
you were carried off by a tiger, but
Freaking tigers. Like part of me, I think big cats like tigers and like leopards are beautiful, but they are terrifying.
Yeah.
So just a little
very
backstory. So
powerful.
I get to Briggs's house, and his mom is like, "Oh, just so you know, that mountain preserve right by our house, people have been spotting a giant unknown wildcat walking around, and they think maybe it could be like someone's escaped pet or something, like exotic pet. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? And so they were like, yeah, we just wanted to let you know, just like in case it shows up in our yard or something, like that there have been sightings. And I'm like, oh, cool, awesome, yeah, cool. Me and Briggs
They're
got
like,
this.
bye now. Have fun with
Yeah.
pigs.
Backing
I
out.
know. So, but if he was Afghan hound, I wouldn't have had this issue. I mean, Briggs could honestly probably take down like a wildcat, but anyway,
He probably could, honestly.
back to sight hounds. So obviously most sight hounds, I'm not going to say all sight hounds, but I'll say most sight hounds aren't out hunting leopards and wolves in the modern day. So, what can you expect them to be like as a pet in your home? As I mentioned briefly before, they're typically really gentle in their spirit, pretty sensitive and pretty sociable with people and other dogs. With that being said, they definitely do have a pretty high prey drive just due to what they were bred for, especially hunting rabbits and quick moving little animals. So they can have a bit of a prey drive, especially with smaller dogs or cats inside the house, outside the house. So that is just something to be aware of if you do have a sight hound. They're typically fairly independent as well. They're not really overly clingy. And obviously, this is it's not a one size fits all. Like you could have a sight hound that just is the opposite of everything I just said. But stereotypically, that's your sight hound for you. Enrichment wise, since they're not doing typically the jobs that they were originally bred for, they do require a lot of physical activity. They love to run. You could say that they have a need for speed, if you will. Things like a lure course, dog sports like flyball and agility can be really good outlets for these guys. And I actually saw a couple weeks ago a really cool video. It was, if you don't know what flyball is, it's kind of like a relay race for dogs. So, like, there's two teams of dogs, and there's a course of hurdles. They have to run over the hurdles and like grab a ball from a springboard and then come back, and then the next dog goes. And it's like one team versus one team. Whoever gets it done the fastest, all their dogs wins. And I saw a really cool video of a flyball tournament the other day, and it was a team of all border collies versus a team of all whippets. And it was so cool
Wow.
because it's like, I think of border collies, I think like border collies are like the elite athletes of the dog world, but the whippets, like just like the precision of their movement and how fast they were going, it's like they didn't even stand a chance against them. Like the whippets were just so, it was a close race, but it was so cool. And I think the whippet team name was something like something about like the Roadrunner, like from like Looney Tunes or whatever.
Oh, that's cute.
I don't know.
That's
Yeah, I
cute.
think it was like Roadrunners Beep Beep. I think that was the team name.
Oh, that's cute.
But it was so
Whip it
cool.
real good.
Yeah, it was so
Sorry.
cool just to like see like how fast they moved and like just like how precise their like body movement was. Like they looked like robotic. Like it was so cool. Um, so I just thought that was really cool. I'll try to find it so we can post it on our Instagram. So moving on, I can read out. I'll try to read out the breeds that are sight hounds. Some of them, there's one that I see here that I'm going to try to pronounce. So we have our Afghan hound that I mentioned earlier, our Azawak,
Sure.
our
Sounds good to me.
Basenji, which I didn't realize that a Basenji was a sight hound.
Me
So
neither.
that's new to me. A Borzoi, a Chart Polski, a Galgo Espanol, a Greyhound, our Ibiza Hound, our Irish Wolfhound, our Italian Greyhound, our Pharaoh Hound, our Saluki, our Scottish Deerhound, our Sloughy,
Oh yeah, heard of those. Might be a
Sloughy,
slewy.
a
Not
Sloughy,
sure, but
Sloughy, our Whippets, and then obviously are lurchers, which is a mix of any of these above breeds. And I can just go over our little fact sheet of what you can fall in love with your sight hound with, what you might struggle with, and what you might consult a trainer for, as we've been doing with all of our breeds before. So you'll fall in love with your sight hound because he's elegant. He's naturally inclined to appreciate the finer things in life, like warmth and comfort. And he is reserved. He is generally quiet and calm, unobtrusive, and stoic. You might find a sight hound hard to live with because he's sensitive. He's not cut out for harsh conditions. which I would argue that's not true because a lot of these sight hounds were bred to hunt in really harsh climates and conditions. But great, you know, invasiveness or rough play. I know that they do have generally very like delicate skin, I believe. Like they can get cut more easily than other dogs. That's true, right?
I've heard that, yeah.
So I guess that's what that means by they're
Mm.
sensitive. They can like get injured more easily. They are
And their thin legs, maybe.
yeah, of course.
Easier to
Mm.
break.
A flight risk. He has a keen eye for prey and the instincts to hunt it down with sudden swiftness. Like I said, like if there's a cat or a small dog or a squirrel, any small prey-like creature, they might go after it. Self-directed, like we said, they're independent. Doting on you or following your directions, particularly come, is often not his top priority. I feel like that's very similar to guardian dogs. Like they just are kind of doing their own thing. They don't have the greatest recall because they're just like, nah, I got it. Um,
Yeah.
so you might find yourself seeking professional help for predatory behavior towards other animals, especially smaller animals, not coming when called, his independent nature regarding your directions and requested quote unquote obedience, discomfort with small children and sudden invasions of personal space, and occasional wariness of strangers or protectiveness of territory and family. But overall, I feel like sight hounds are cool. I really would love a sight hound sometime before I die. I just think they're so cool, so unique. I feel like they're some of the most unique looking and just like in general, like they're just cool dogs. I think they're cool. I would love a Borzoi.
Just a
Anyway,
cool
Silken
name in general
Windhounds.
too.
Yeah.
yeah, a silken windhound. Those are
They're
adorable, but
beautiful.
those are
They're
really,
just so regal looking. And like you said
yeah.
before, like you'd expect to see one out in an enchanted forest and just, they
I
just
feel,
have that
yeah,
magical,
but I feel like they can
ethereal
be
look
so
to them.
goofy at the same time. Like I follow an account on Instagram like Cleo Longlegs. It's they have two Borzois and a Silken Windhound, and they're so cute. And one of their Borzois, it acts exactly like Clover. Like she's so goofy and just like derpy and so cute. I'm like, I just love them. I'm appreciating from afar for now, but I love a sight hound. So
They're really cute.
that's sight hounds for you.
Very nice.
Thanks.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Now
Um,
I wanna spend time with them.
Right? I know. I want to start like volunteering at that Greyhound rescue around here. That'd be cool.
That would be really cool. Jenna, do you know who Jenna Marbles is? The
Mhm.
YouTube.
Yeah, she has the
Her and
Iggies.
her. Yeah, yeah. She has the
They
Iggies,
have
and they've been
Greyhounds
like,
as well, don't
yeah,
they?
they've
Though?
been like collecting, not collecting, but they've been,
sorry.
they've been, yeah, the
Yeah,
collection.
acquiring.
They're acquiring, like, I think they are like from a Greyhound rescue, ones
Yeah,
that
I think
used to
so
race.
too.
They're really
Yeah,
sweet.
they're
Sorry, my
cool. I know
dogs
they just seem
like
so like
greyhounds.
they're just so like laid back, but like also like because they are so like kind of demure in nature, like to
You
find out that they were bred to like hunt leopards and wolves. I'm like, that's wild.
would never know.
No, it's cool. It's cool. It's another one of those things. It's like if you don't know anything about sight hounds, you might get one and be like, "Oh, they're so chill," but then you learn about them and you're like, "Oh my God, these dogs are like actually really intense and like need some outlets and stuff like that." So I
Yeah,
think
they all need stuff to do.
that's why it's important to learn these things.
Indeed.
Knowledge.
Knowledge is power.
All right, are we ready to move on?
Mm-hmm.
Gosh,
I'm ready.
I am not going to be as robust in my knowledge of terriers as Maren was with sighthounds, but I will do my best.
That's okay.
I've known a lot
You're
of terriers.
forgiven.
I'm sure we have a lot of anecdotes about terriers in our lives. Pippa.
Oh
Oh,
my
for
god,
sure.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
Pippa, yeah.
Shout out to
Shout out
Pippa.
to
They
Pippa.
listen to our podcast.
Shout out to Pippa.
Hey,
Hi,
Pippa.
Pippa.
All right. So
One of our
terriers.
favorites.
I really like terriers. I feel like every terrier needs to have the name Scrappy or
Yeah.
Scruffy because they're all scrappy and scruffy, and that's
Mhm.
what makes them cool. It was believed terriers kind of came to be around the 14th century, and they were bred at the time specifically to kill vermin, rats on ships in villages. They eventually evolved into military dogs, and they would be with the men in the trenches, again, killing rats or anything that was there. They can kill foxes. As the breeds kind of evolved and became different types of terriers, it was all about different kinds of pests and vermin that they were to kill. So they are very scrappy little dogs. Although they're stinking cute, they're another one of those kind of like the bulldogs that I think are very misunderstood. A lot of people get terriers because they're small and they're so cute, not knowing that you've got like a Fight Club contender in your house. And I mean that in the best possible way, but they're in it to win it. They were another breed where they selected against that ritualized aggression because if their job is to go out there and rid the streets of rats, you don't want a dog who's going to go out there like, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. You don't want the rat to get away. So they just have to go. They are very attracted to fast-moving objects, and they are notorious toy destroyers because they squeak, and that's really fun. So then they rip into, tear, and shred, which is fine, but be prepared for that. They also have a lot of propensity for resource guarding because in their selective breeding to be vermin killers, they had to protect their stuff. They're always going after something that is trying to get into their stuff, whether it's their house, their food, their area. So a lot of terriers do show with at least some amount of resource guarding. Let's see, they are very social but independent. So while they like to be with people and they can be great family pets, they can be notorious flipper offers if you try to get them to do stuff and get them to come, or if you are harsh with them when you're trying to redirect them, you've got to kind of do the herding dog thing and make it a teamwork kind of thing. And I really need you over here. And they're much more apt to listen to you if they feel like you're working with them and not against them. And that again was because they were often back in the day let out to go do their thing and roam the streets and roam the trenches and not have to live under anyone's real rule. But they did like to be with humans and they did have to be friendly with humans because they were out about and amongst them. Let's see. What else can I tell you about them? Their enrichment then, obviously they like to shred, they like to uh, dissipate toys, which is fine. One thing you can do is get them the toy, let them shred, and then just restuff it or stuff socks in it, some kibble in it, use it, work with them on that. They do like barn hunts. Lure coursing is fun, a lot of chasing. Flirt poles are great ideas. What else? They can be obsessive because they are that go, go, go personality. They do get big dopamine hits when they're doing their job. Why they probably like to chase balls, you've got to be careful to not cross that line. You've got to temper that with some more mental engagement. They do tend to be extremely smart dogs. So harder enrichment puzzles. They're really fun to work with at the academy because they are the dogs who are like, what's next? What's next? And you're always taking it to the next level. You start with a simple towel game, and then in 15 minutes, you're finding that you've got to layer 10 towels and twist them up and put them in a box and put the box upside down. And terriers will just go. And again, they are bred to figure things out on their own. When they can hear a rat underneath the floorboards, well, how am I going to get under that floorboard and get through the tunnel and get that rat? So you can make it a lot of fun having a dog that's going to keep you challenged as well. That's why I like them. They keep you on your toes and they're keeping you as mentally aware of where they are as they can. Ladies, jump in because we have worked with a lot of terriers and I just think they're a hoot.
Yeah, I think scrappy is one of the top words that is good to use for terriers. Also, just like feisty, fiery, and all like in a good way. But yeah, every terrier I've known
Hmm.
is so like just like so sweet and like loves a cuddle, but they're also just like boom, boom, like I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do this and I'm
Yeah.
gonna do this. And we're like, all right.
Yeah, I also have heard, and this makes sense, and I can think of every terrier I've ever known who fits this. If you are heavy-handed with their corrections, or if you're trying to pull them away from something, or if you yell at them, they're gonna see it as oh yeah, and they're going to
Yeah.
take you on. They're not going to cower. They like that type of push and they like that type of engagement. It's like those couples that get off on having the hard fights and then oh everything's fine. And that's they like that roller coaster. I feel like terriers are like that too. They like that pushback and they're not going to shrink from it. So that's another thing. You can't send a terrier to boot camp. You can't be
Mhm.
too harsh and use these hard ways of training. You've got to find a way to meet in the middle, like I
Yeah.
said, and work together or you're gonna lose. I mean, like
That just
they're cool.
that just reminds me of a terrier that we used to have at school who really liked to go around and just hump everybody. And
Oh.
he and he knew, like, if you were across the room and you saw him doing it and then you were like, hey, knock it off, like, he's not gonna, like, you have to physically go over there because he knows, he's like, oh, you're over there, what are you gonna do about it? So he's just gonna keep doing his thing. Like, I feel like that's very terrier. Like, they're like, yeah, and what? You can say all you want, but what are you gonna do about
They
it?
just look at you while they're still humping, like,
Yeah,
uh-huh.
exactly. I'm like, come on, man. Like, I get it, but
Yeah.
Well, his thought process was so calculated too. I'm
yeah,
like, it's kind of alarming. Like, are you actually a
it's
dog
like
in there?
it's like those, like, serial killers who you're like, man, they're really, like, intelligent in, like, a really creepy way.
Yeah, I'm like, you're really plotting all day long there, buddy, aren't you?
They are. They're looking. They're looking for an altercation. They're looking for a fight.
Yeah.
So, but they're neat. They're fun to have, but you've got to have the time, the energy, and the patience to have one of those guys at home
And the
because I've known
humor,
people.
I feel like.
And the humor, yeah, appreciate them for what they are because I do think they're cool. I've known people who have had Jack Russells because for a while, Jack Russells were like the popular dog to have. And then they're left at home all day and they either develop horrible OCD behaviors. I had a client whose dog would just run around in circles in the living room to where they literally wore a path in the carpet. And they were so mad at their dog. But I'm like, you leave them alone all day. They're probably going window to window to window to window to window to look for something to do.
Yeah.
Um, they're destroyers. If you don't leave stuff for them to destroy or give them an outlet when you're home working together, they will rip up your furniture and your carpet and your ottoman and your shades because again, they just were built to do stuff, intense stuff. So people need to really do their research if you're considering a terrier. They're also cute and they're also scruffy, all different sizes and colors and whatnot, but their brains are just more than the average person is ready to handle if you're a busy person or if you have little kids and you can't give enough time to your dog.
Yeah.
So,
I blame Wishbone. Do you guys
Oh, yeah,
remember
right? Yeah.
Wishbone?
yeah,
Wishbone would
yeah.
never have done that.
He was
Wishbone was a
very
good
busy.
boy. He was
Wishbone
exploring
had,
history.
he was,
Yeah, he
yeah,
was he was getting enrichment because he was
he
exploring
had a job to
history.
do.
He had a
I,
job.
I'm a historian. I gotta go.
Yeah, sorry.
No.
So funny.
Yeah, but it's true. Like that's the sad thing when they put all these great dogs in shows or movies or whatever, and then everybody just thinks that's how they are when they don't understand that's a highly trained Hollywood dog who
Exactly.
another story, like you could argue they may not have a very enriched life because they're always like on task. But a terrier would probably enjoy that. They probably would like that. Here's what
It's
your job is
it's it
today.
it depends on the
Do.
extent of the exploitation as well.
Sure, sure. Oh, for sure.
The
I just
level.
had to get on my soapbox a little tiny bit, but
Don't mind us.
yeah,
We have feelings. It's like child stardom.
we don't
Oh
wish
my
to offend
god.
anyone. We really don't wish to offend anybody. But yeah, but that is what was that other show? Frasier. Frasier was
Oh
out.
yeah.
That was a great show. And
Hmm.
they had a Jack Russell on there who was super cool and saw a big boom in Jack Russell's then too. So
There's a Jack Russell in my neighborhood who is crazy.
that sounds about right.
Every time I take Obi out, we'll see him with his dad. He's on his little retractable leash, like like crying and trying to go everywhere and trying to get at Obi. And I'm like, oh, let's go. Don't make eye contact. Let's go.
Don't look at him. He's looking. He's
Don't look at
looking
that
for
terrier.
a
He's
fight.
crazy.
You can see them just go out there on walks and they're just like looking around and they're looking around like, okay, okay, I'm gonna get you. I could take you. I could take you.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're fun.
Yeah, they're
I
fun.
can read. Let me read Kim's. So you'll fall in love with A. I think these are very apropos.
Mm-hmm.
I
I'm gonna read the breeds out as well.
will read the
I
breeds
mean,
out
it's
as well.
basically any breed that ends in terrier.
I know reading it, it's like
Yorkshire
Airedale
Terrier,
Terrier,
Border Terrier,
Australian Terrier,
Fox
Border Terrier,
Terrier.
Cairn Terrier. I know. Let's see. Let me find one that might get you. Miniature Schnauzer. How about that? Doesn't end in terrier.
Oh,
They're terriers.
Yeah.
Then you've got your Manchester Terrier, the Norfolk, the Lakelands, the West Highlands, Westies. So I don't know if everybody calls them Westies. You may not put two and two together that they are a terrier. A Yorkshire Terrier, even though it has terrier in its name. I think Yorkies, everybody thinks are like these cute little purse dogs. I have met some pretty high-spirited, resource guardy, intense Yorkshire
Yeah,
Terriers
I was gonna say that
lately.
earlier. Like they're like the typical purse dog, but they're a terrier. Like they got that
Totally.
dog in them.
Yeah, a lot of people think of those as grandma dogs. My mom always wanted a Yorkshire Terrier. I'm like, no, you don't. You're not ready for a Yorkshire Terrier just because it has a little
really?
bow in its hair.
We'll rip
And of
that bow
course,
out to get in a fight.
yeah, you hold my bow. I go kill him. No. Okay, so according to Kim Brophy, you will fall in love with your terrier because she's dynamic. She has a big, fun, bold, and witty personality. She's independent. She's not particularly clingy and knows how to self-entertain. They're always ready. At the drop of a hat, they are poised for action. I would say I agree with all of those.
Yeah.
You might find a terrier hard to live with because she's got a one-track mind. When they set their sights on something, you may be invisible to her. They've got a thing for little critters. She can be dangerous to animals she confuses with vermin. Hyperactive. You may wonder if they have ADHD due to the amount of energy that they have. I would agree with those statements. And things you might find yourself seeking professional help with if you have a terrier. Difficulty following directions. Dramatic or unmanageable behavior when walking on the leash. And there's your little guy that you live by, always looking for something to get their little adrenaline going. Excessive barking in the house or yard. Mischief and troublemaking, such as digging up your garden, rummaging through laundry, stirring things up with any family member or pet that they can get a rise out of, stealing things, and ripping them into unrecognizable pieces. We just kind of went over all those things. Predatory behavior toward other animals, obsessive spinning, tail chasing, preoccupation with toys or other targets like the TV. I've known quite a few terriers who cannot watch anything on TV. And the more technology improves and you've got the high definition screens, you're seeing more and more of that because it literally looks like birds are flying in your room to them. Or that dog TV with the cats bouncing across or balls bouncing across. Maybe not for all dogs. Competitiveness or bossiness with other dogs in the house. That kind of goes without saying.
Yeah.
So that is what you have to look forward to with the terrier. Um,
I feel like
be
those
prepared.
I feel like terriers are like those guys in the friend group who are always just like picking on people, trying to get people all riled up. And then like when you get pissed at them, they're like, "Man, I was just kidding. Like, chill out."
No, or you want to step outside and go? I'll take you.
Yeah. And then everyone's like, "Oh, he's actually a really cool guy when you get to know him."
I know. Just get one too many drinks in, and it's like he's
Yeah.
all aroused.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, just understand your dog. If you're looking to get a dog, just look at what life might look like. All those behaviors that they were bred for, how might that show up in your house, and are you ready for it? They can be fantastic, but they do have to have their outlets, and they need someone who's going to understand and appreciate them for who they are.
Hmm.
See, that's the kind of dog you could see sitting in the sidecar. Like if you had the motorcycle with the
The
sidecar,
goggles.
it
Mhm.
would be a total terrier with the little goggles on and just ready.
Yeah.
Would be.
Ready to hop out if anyone gets road rage at you and take them on.
That's right.
Anyone
Gonna
cuts
send
you
my-
off, they run out. Yeah, what was that? What was that?
That's what I thought. Like, go back to the
Let's go, mom.
dude.
Little leather jacket.
Pulls back his little goggles.
Yeah.
Okay. On to Pet Smart.
That is
Somebody's
terrible.
trying to break into my room.
Do we know
All right.
them?
If only I had a terrier, I wouldn't have to worry about it.
So casual. Someone's breaking in.
I think it's Jinx.
It must be.
Oh.
Sounds like her. She's got that deliberate like scratch
Yeah.
down the door,
Oh.
and then it pauses at the end, and then it goes away.
Babadook.
I know you're in there, Mom. All right, so moving on to another
Gun dogs?
popular
Gun dogs.
gun dogs.
Gun dogs. Are
That was
you
the
ready
that was
for
the terrier
gun
going by in
dogs?
a sidecar out your window, Elena.
I was wondering if you heard that. Terry.
Don't
That
you
was
look at me
Pip-
like
That
that.
was Pippa.
That's Pippa was a
Oh my
great
god.
going back
Pippa
to
was a
terriers for 2
terrier.
seconds. She was great because she was the
Yeah.
cutest, sweetest thing. She had the perfect home. Her mom just adored her for who she was. But man, if you pissed her off, it's like, do not do that again. Like, okay,
I know.
so cute.
She was
I
the
miss
one like,
Pippa.
yeah, that other terrier who would go around and hump everyone. I'm like, yeah, go ahead, try and hump Pippa. She'll put you in your place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 She's a
That was so
girl.
funny. Yeah.
Pippa was a
So-
great teacher for our dogs because she wouldn't brook any shit from anybody, but in a very appropriate way.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
wasn't aggressive at all. Because like if you're
Um,
cool, I'm cool. But if you bring it, bring it.
Yeah.
I love that. You
Yeah.
know, like,
But she also loved to
it's cool.
snuggle at nap time and a belly rub.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, she was great.
did.
Shout out Pippa. Hope you're having fun.
I know.
Shout
Hope
out
you're listening,
Pippa.
Pippa. We miss
Coast.
you. We'll have her on as a guest
Yeah,
host.
right. She's just sitting in the corner, just literally just Pippa on screen.
With one of her puzzles.
Yeah, right.
Just like-
Whatever. She has a Rubik's Cube.
She probably could do a Rubik's Cube.
She honestly
If she
probably
felt
could.
like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if she wanted to. If not, then no.
I know.
Because why
I
would
know.
you if you don't want to?
Sorry.
Okay. We digress. Back to
Oh,
gun dogs.
sorry. Molly
Back
wants to talk.
gun dogs. Molly has something to say
Molly.
about gun dogs.
Molly, you're not a gun dog. Okay. Gun dogs. Sorry. Whenever she's okay. Um I will start with the breeds. I'm gonna mix it up and I'm gonna start with the breeds of our gun dog category. So our gun dogs are our spaniels, our American Cocker Spaniels, American Water Spaniels. We have our Golden Retrievers, our Weimaraners. We've got What is Barbet? Barbet?
A barbet?
A
Sure.
I've seen that dog on the
Oh.
list.
Barbet. I'm just kidding.
Tomato,
Um,
tomato. No offense, barbets out there.
Yeah, sorry. Our pointers, our setters. We've got, I mean, if pretty much if it ends in pointer, retriever, setter, or spaniel, that's one. Oh, a Portuguese water dog,
Oh yeah.
a Spinone Italiano,
I actually worked with one of those before. Spinoni Italiano.
Non
Spinoni.
Italiano.
Oh
Sorry.
no.
His name was
Not
Frederick.
okay.
That was necessary. That was not okay. Yeah, you're right. I'm so sorry. Anywho, Legato Ramagnolo.
From
That's your truffle
Manolo.
dog. Yeah. We had one of those at the warehouse. Was
Yeah.
that before your time,
Really?
Elena? Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, what was this
I
name?
don't
Like
think I remember that.
Frankie.
Frankie, I thought so.
Frankie.
That's what I think Maisie Doodle looks like.
She does.
She has the
Oh.
coloring, she's the right size. Like she looks like a truffle dog.
She
Huh.
could be. I mean,
A truffle
her mom
dog
wasn't.
doodle.
Yeah, who knows? Switched at birth with
Yeah, right.
Bernedoodle.
So just
She just snuck into the Bernedoodle litter because she had the right colors.
Sorry.
let's see. Standard poodle.
Nacho, shout out to Nacho.
Shout out to Nacho.
I know
Sorry,
you're
dogs,
watching,
we know you're
Nacho.
listening. He probably is. He
He's
loves to watch.
watching. They said my name.
He's now rubbing against his mom. Mom,
Yeah.
he said Nacho.
Scratch my poof.
Scratch my poop. That's where I keep all my secrets. Uh, oh, and I'll end with the wire-haired pointed griffon. Griffin. Griffin.
Are those the guys who look like
Tomato, tomato.
terriers?
I think
I
it's
think
what tomato
so.
tomato thing. I've heard both. Griffon.
You're getting both today.
So
Say it how you
buckle
wish.
up.
Buckle up. Sorry, I have to readjust. Okay, so yeah, those are most of the common breeds for our gun dogs. The genetics of them is mainly they were selected for the job of hunting game birds with a human partner. So they have been bred to be really social with people. They were also selected for having reduced agnostic behavior with humans and other animals because they had to work closely with humans and some animals sometimes. They were considered the first family dog because of those really social aspects to them and the fact that they were pretty much good with everything. And to this day, they are still one of the most successful genetic groups for families.
Golden retrievers, shout out.
Shout out to the Goldens. On the other hand, they would probably not do well in a natural setting. So just keep that in mind. They are better in your house.
Yeah, keep them inside.
They need guidance.
Help
They
them.
do.
I have an interesting fact about them. It's kind of long and confusing, but I wrote it out to try to make it
Everyone,
not as confusing.
Start paying attention
Yeah,
right
charts.
now.
Lock in.
You weren't locked in before. Now's your
I
We'll give
chance.
you a
am
second.
right here.
Look me in the eyes when I tell you this.
Look at me. But not for too long.
Otherwise, I'll freak out.
So
She won't know that you're looking at her, people. Okay.
no, I'll know. I'm just kidding.
My senses are tingling.
Oh my God,
Spidey
people are
senses are tingling. Do either of you remember what the Williams-Barron syndrome is that was talked about?
Yeah,
I
I was literally gonna bring this up, so I'm glad that this is your fun fact. But I couldn't remember what it was
Hell
called.
yeah. Hell yeah.
I was literally
So
on
it's
my
called-
phone there Googling. I was like, what is that chemical that makes dogs more childlike?
The internet's like, what?
You just gave
Do you mean
Gave it
oxytocin?
Oxytocin. Anywho, so yes, it was just okay. So for those of you who don't know, it was discussed in the legs course that we took, because it relates to golden retrievers. So Williams-Barron syndrome is a rare genetic disorder in humans that leads to distinct facial features, cardiovascular problems, intellectual disability, and as it relates to Goldens, a very outgoing personality. And also, I would think maybe it also relates to golden with the cardiovascular issues because in my experiences of vet tech, a lot of goldens had heart issues.
Mm.
Um, there was a study done. I will try to find the study and maybe we can link it in the show notes.
Yeah.
I did not do that yet, but I can. So there was a study that found golden retrievers have the same mutation. This is where it gets weird. This is where it gets hard to follow, but I'll try my best. They have the same mutation on the same polymorphism on their DNA that humans with Williams syndrome have. So before everyone is like, what the actual F are you talking about? I will try to explain it in a way that makes sense. So, polymorphism is a variation in the DNA sequence of a gene. So a gene contains all the instructions for a particular trait, and a polymorphism is a different version of those instructions. I don't know if that helped or made it more
helped me.
confusing. Okay.
So I think so.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, the basically a mutation in the DNA is what causes this similarity. Um, it was a genetic change through artificial selection that we kept because it helped this breed with their job and social ability. Um, it is important to note there, I don't think there has been research done that shows if this mutation is in any other breeds besides Goldens. So it might not be just a Golden thing, but they do for sure have it.
Yeah.
So that was my fun fact. If you guys want to discuss this before I move on to my next thing.
No, I'm so
was-
glad you brought that up because I wanted to bring it up, but I couldn't remember what the term for it was, and so I didn't. But yeah, I think that's so interesting, and it makes sense because you're like, yeah, makes sense why
Yeah.
Goldens act the way they do. It's because
Yeah.
of this like literal genetic variation that plays into that.
It's so wild. But yeah, and it wasn't even on purpose at first. It was just an accident. But
Yeah, it's
it's
very
just,
interesting.
yeah.
Genetics are so interesting.
Genetics are interesting.
And they matter.
And they
They matter.
They do matter.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see a pattern here, people?
Moral of the story.
Moral of the story. So yeah, I wanted to talk about that because yeah, everyone's always like, yeah, Goldens are, so outgoing, so friendly. And it's literally because of a mutated polymorphism, or however you say it. But yeah, super weird. And yeah, I just find that really interesting. I'm glad Kim brought that up in her course because
Mm-hmm.
it gives a lot of insight.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So now I will go into the history of gun dogs. So, and as a whole, obviously they were bred for hunting birds, but I broke it down into a few major categories of the breeds and what they were bred for.
Cool.
So, spaniels were bred to flush game from cover. Setters and pointers were bred to locate and do that point, which is like them freezing in place to show where the game is for the hunter to find. And obviously, retrievers were bred for bringing shot game back to the hunter with a very happy attitude.
Here you
Because of their-
go.
I'm having the best day ever.
Look what I found for you. But
Um,
think about how to give up something so high value so willingly. That's pretty crazy that we were able to selectively breed for that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
yeah, it's just because they're like, okay, you can have it.
Yeah.
I
Because
know.
it is important so they don't like damage the what they're carrying in their mouths or like try to take it from you and then, bite the
Yeah,
handler or
Half of
anything
it.
like that. Like, yeah. I know.
yeah,
I know some of the dogs we have in school would bring it back half chewed up and be like, "Oh,
yeah.
thanks."
Awesome.
Thank you.
Good job.
I think it is interesting too, though. I think we've talked about this recently. We've noticed a lot more golden retrievers that have resource issues. So I
Hmm.
don't know what that is like in their and their genetic makeup, like over time, is something being lost that they had before, or is it because of just like the modern world? I don't know, but I thought that was weird because they
Yeah.
are still good family dogs, but more and more I feel like we're seeing resource issues, which
Yeah.
is like
Yeah.
out of
I haven't read
character.
anything definitive about that, but I think it's so they're still trying to figure it out. But I do think the modern world, their jobs have changed. But I think there's some poor breeding because when you get any of those super popular dogs, people don't breed responsibly because they see it as a cash cow.
Yeah.
So you've already got that tendency to want to hold things because you had to do that to get the dog to bring you back the duck or whatever. And now it's been corrupted because now they don't want to give up that dog and you're not taking it from them. So I think that slipped somewhere in some cases. But and training can be really harsh too. Like they're doing their job by carrying things in their mouths. So then what are you going to do with that? If you're going to punish them, I think that sends the wrong signal that they were hardwired for back in the day, where it was like again, a teamwork thing. Like a lot of these dogs were bred to work with us, not against us. So now we're like,
Hmm.
you're being so bad and you're being trying to be my alpha or whatever. It's like, I don't think they think like that. I don't think that
Yeah.
they're trying to take us on as a species
Mm-mm.
versus species, but
Except
we're,
terriers.
except
Yeah, right.
terriers.
They're always trying to
But
take
we made
everyone
them like
on.
that too. Like, can you imagine having a little dog like following you around, like punching at your ankles all the time?
Today's the day. Today's the day.
And,
Hold me back.
and anywho, so I don't know exactly if they have figured out what that is, but there's definitely a trend, and I think it could be a combination of things. You're taking stuff that we taught it to do, and now they no longer have those jobs, and then the poor breeding angle, and punishing them for the wrong stuff. It's probably a combination based on the dog itself and their learning history and stuff. But it is really interesting.
Yeah.
Um, I've seen some scary golden retrievers, like scary, aggressive golden retrievers at shelters and stuff. And the first time I saw one, I'm like, that's
That
weird.
dog's
That looks
sick.
wrong. What's wrong with that dog? Do you
He's
know you're a
crazy.
golden retriever?
I feel like we were also saying the other day that we're seeing a lot of like the purebred golden retrievers that we're seeing nowadays look a lot more like the field bred, like working line golden retrievers. Like they're a lot more like like lean and smaller rather than like I don't
Yeah, like the
Hmm.
big,
yeah.
robust,
Yeah,
yeah,
like I
family
Yeah.
feel like
golden.
all the modern day golden retrievers I'm seeing are really very like lean and smaller. Like I'm assuming they're kind of like the working line golden retrievers and I feel like they're a little bit more edgy and kind of crazy rather than, back in the day.
If that's true, then that's probably because they are being repressed from what their natural drives are. Hey, any golden retriever experts,
Yeah, let us know what's going on.
let us know what's going on with the golden
What's
retrievers.
Tell
happening?
us.
There's an
Yeah, it's
epidemic.
just really interesting. It's really interesting how things like that just kind of, you know, change and evolve and devolve or whatever. Nothing,
Yeah.
nothing negative, just observations, and it just makes it more challenging to work with sometimes because you're expecting one thing and this dog presents with something else.
Yeah, it is
It's
interesting.
interesting. And as dogs start to adapt to the modern world, what's that going to look like?
Yeah, like in
Eventually,
100 years. Yeah.
yeah, because they will start adapting to like, okay, I don't need to go run after sheep anymore. I don't have sheep anymore. So, but what's going to happen as long as we keep trying to make them look like border collies or Australian shepherds or whatever, then where does all that trickle out and turn into? So,
Depression.
depression and
Yeah.
They end up like corporate workers.
Well, I feel like
Shells.
that
whatever
kind
is
of ties in well to
just
gun dogs because I feel like we've been seeing a trend of like all the younger purebred gun dogs that we're getting are like really struggling. Like,
yeah.
and I wouldn't think of gun dogs to be like the breed group that really has, quote unquote issues or behavior problems or these things that we're having to look at. But I feel like recently, like all the gun dogs, like setters, spaniels, like
Yeah.
etc. We're really seeing like they're like
Mm.
really anxious and like they're just struggling like recently.
Yeah, it's weird. It used to be, gosh, you'd see a lot of tough herding dogs, and you still
Mhm.
do, but we're seeing less of that. And you're right, like this
Like I don't
huge trend in the last 2 years for us.
yeah, and I know some of
Uh,
them are like because they're like working bred dogs who are then placed into homes and then that's obviously an issue. So I know that contributes a lot to it. Like is it more of a thing with the gum dogs where people are just breeding them to be like working line and then just sending them to homes? Like I don't know.
there probably is some of that, but also I think that's another one of the breed groups that's so misunderstood because everybody gets them because they're cool looking and they are known as good family dogs and they're generally good
Mhm.
with kids. And so those boxes are ticked off, but the energy level that they have, and when you're reading off the jobs they had, so specific, like flushing birds, chasing birds, swimming out and retrieving birds, those are all like really athletic, um, endurance activities. And how many of our pet dogs get to do things that resemble that once a week,
Yeah.
if not every day, like
Yeah.
and so where does that go? If you've got this high drive dog who likes to chase and observe everything, and then you don't have outlets for that, it just hurts. It hurts their heads because they're so overstimulated. They can't do what they want to do. You yell at them when they do what they are trying to do. We've seen a lot of them lately too that are come here and the confinement, the walls, like they
Yeah.
just
They're
want
closing in.
space. And we have a lot of space here. So it's like, geez, what are you like at home in an even smaller yard? And every bird that goes by, you just see them like catch the bird and watch the shadows. And it's, man, they're just not getting enough. That's why we cannot say enough good things about Sniff Spot as something that should be on your speed dial. If you have a herding dog or a gun dog, you should be going there a couple times a week and just let them run and sniff and
Sight
track and watch
hound.
birds.
Sight Hound.
Yeah, yeah. Arguably every dog, but
Yeah.
for some of these guys
Especially
really,
those
really,
dogs who are meant to get that physical. And I don't
yeah.
know, like going back to the breeding kind of, because I know we had one instance of this, and I'm wondering if it's kind of just become like a breeding trend. I really don't know anything about breeding because I'm just not interested in that world. It's fine. But so I might be just completely talking out of my ass right now. But like I know we had one instance where it was a lab and it was a field bred lab, and they specifically wanted a field bred lab because they're healthier. And
Mm,
so I'm wondering if like more breeders are kind of breeding field bred
mm.
gun dogs because gun
Mm,
dogs do often have a lot of health issues, but the field bred, I guess, are typically healthier. So like if breeders are leaning more towards that side of the genetics for health wise, but then it's just kind of fucking them up, like
that could
That'd be another
be,
thing.
honestly.
Yeah, that's a really that is a really good question that I also don't know if there's anybody out there that has an answer. Also, educate us because that
yeah,
would it's interesting and it makes sense why you'd want a healthier dog, but then you've also got to be counseled properly
on what do you need to
what
do
that
to
dog's
keep
going
this
to
dog
need.
mentally healthy?
They're different because when we had that work, we've had a couple working line labs. Do you remember the red one that we had at the warehouse? I don't want to
I
name
don't think I
names.
ever met that one. No, but I
Yeah,
remember stories about it. Yeah, like that and that's the thing, it's
he
like this
was
like these dogs, yeah, they're gonna live forever, but they're gonna be going crazy. Like
he was and he was very friendly, but he was so overstimulated being around other dogs and stuff that was going on.
yeah.
And he'd run up to greet you. He was very sweet, but he would like body slam you and just keep body slamming you because it
Mm.
was just like he didn't know what to do with himself. And we just
Yeah.
could not. We tried everything. We tried lure coursing and everything. Like this guy just needs to live on a farm and
Yeah.
work.
And I feel like that's like
Just
what a lot of the
work.
gun dogs recently have kind of been like. So I'm wondering if maybe that's kind of like a breeding trend to make them healthier, but then it's kind of
Yeah.
backfiring
I think that's a
in a
really
home
interesting.
environment.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would make sense. Just
It
makes sense.
especially if they're still being bred they're being bred for like a past life that doesn't
Yeah.
exist anymore.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to mention this cuz it's kind of like philosophical and weird, but it kind of ties in. I've been reading a book about grief, and it's not just like when people pass away, but like grieving the loss of like some of the resources of the planet or a species that have died or aren't around anymore, or like the way that we as humans used to live. And I thought it was interesting. There was just one piece in there that was we grieve what we expected our lives to be, but we didn't receive. So like we don't really know what we're missing, but we know that
Yeah.
something's missing because we're not sorry, I think the boys have returned from Costco and it's
That's all right.
exciting.
It's not too loud.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
Um so like naturally as humans we would expect to be, and I think it's probably ingrained in us that like we would have access to nature, we would be able to like provide gifts to our community that are unique to ourselves instead of just like working a job 9 to 5 every day. um where I'm going I know I'm straying away, sorry, I'm trying to give a
Mm-mm.
backstory quickly. But I was thinking about this relating to dogs. Like I'm sure dogs are also like born into, like I'm gonna, oh, like not that they're consciously thinking, yeah, I'm gonna have access to this and that, but they are being born into like a more modern world when they still need nature, they still need to do things that like nourish their soul, like all the natural behaviors we talk about, like digging and foraging and sniffing.
That's that's
Yeah.
enrichment. It's all
Yeah.
lack of enrichment and purpose and fulfillment.
Outlets.
Yes. Outlets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what those
Yeah.
outlets are. That's why we do what we do. That's what
Mm,
we do our best to
we
give these guys.
try.
But that's, you know, they some of these guys need way more, way more.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I so the author of the book, I can send it to you to link it in the show notes. I forget who it is, but
Is it the one you
um
sent to me before?
yeah, yeah it is.
Cool.
Um they phrased it as we're spiritually unemployed. So
Hmm.
I was thinking like I feel like maybe it is so hard for us as humans to realize what dogs need because we ourselves don't have access to what fulfills us as
Yeah.
humans, so I think that might be why it's so hard for people to grasp like, well, your dog needs this, your dog needs this, because it's like, well, I want to go out on vacation, but like I just have to, like I can't, like I just have to work. And
Yeah.
um I think we've
That's a
kind of
great
like
point.
Yeah, we don't
sucked
quite
our
see the
dogs.
importance of it. Yeah.
Yeah, we're
Because we just
so
suck it up
far
and yeah.
removed. Yeah, yeah, and misery loves company or whatever that saying is. So it's like, you're in it with me now, dog, and we
Yeah,
live in
you're gonna
corporate
make me
America.
happy.
Yeah, you're gonna make me happy while
Yeah.
I go sit in my cubicle all day, and then I come home, and then you're just there, and you're just there for my
Yeah.
um. I don't know. I kind of went off on a tangent, but
No,
when
I
we were
think that
talking
makes
about that,
sense.
it reminded
It's
me
a
of that.
great point. I like how you always relate things to humans and
I don't
how
like humans, but
you
I
like some
just know
humans.
about them.
like you guys.
I read. You just always bring up really good points that are like one of those pondering things. But that's a great point. I
Yeah.
don't know that I ever thought about that, but that's probably why we have some people that we know that you try to explain your dog needs more of this kind of thing because they really like to do this and they may not be getting enough of this, and that's why you're seeing aggressive behaviors or whatever, destructive behavior. But they're like, "Are you kidding me? They're so spoiled. They get to do this and we're
Hmm.
traveling to this place." It's like, but that's not what your dog needs.
Yeah, that's not
And
what's
that
filling
may be
their cup.
stressing you out
Mm-mm.
too. This busy, busy life, you think it's spoiling, but yeah, like if people went
It's
out
not.
in nature more and sat out in their backyard and just watched butterflies with your dogs and
Yeah, like
we're
I
all just so
yearn
up in
for
the
the trees.
world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah,
I
That's
mean,
really
you just
interesting.
so far removed from it.
yeah, or they're using their dog to
Yeah.
fill their own cup. Like, well, I want to go travel
Yeah.
to all these places and take my dog with me and have them do these cool things, but then they're overlooking, like, okay, your dog does not have the same wants and needs as you do. So yeah, this is making you feel happy and you feel fulfilled, but then it's in turn potentially damaging your dog and stressing them out. Like, you have to, it's yeah.
Yeah, you've got to
Sorry.
look through the lens of ethology and empathy and learn about your dog and then find something you guys can enjoy together.
Yeah.
You got to take that time because then if you do all the things and then it's like, well, now I'm supposed to take my dog out to nature for an hour, but I'm too tired. Who loses? Your dog again.
Exactly.
So you,
Both of
yeah,
you.
Yeah.
Both of you
both of
lose.
you, but you just don't realize it. But there's the whole thing. I talked about that with Kim and Angie once when we were in Vegas about how kids like they're seeing this uptick in behavioral health issues with kids. And we were saying it's because they don't get to be outside and play and
They're all
everybody's on their
iPad
phone.
kids.
Oh,
All the
iPad kids.
technology.
Not Jude, damn it.
There's just not enough balance, like none of that's bad, but there's no balance. And we don't
Yeah.
have the great environments to go out in either more anymore anyway, because it's like in Phoenix where it's very polluted and it's very hot during the summer, so you lose that.
Yeah.
But we could say the same for our dogs. Like you've just got to make that time. Nature is the elixir for me. An hour walking around out in the woods and I feel like completely reset and I don't do it enough. That's why I'm very much looking forward to moving to some place that has more outside clean air.
Just watch out for the ticks.
I'll watch out for the ticks. That's the one good thing about Phoenix. We don't really have tick problems here, but
We don't,
but yeah,
yeah.
I think that would be such a good cure-all. Boy, we
Hmm.
really went off on this tangent, but thank you, gun dogs. Like, I think the gun dogs really, really need that. Herding dogs we talked
Hmm.
about can get a lot out of the mental enrichment because their brains are so active. But with the gun dogs, their bodies are so active and their brains too, but they need all that stuff. So it's
Uh,
hard to substitute some of that with the mental. Some of the gun dogs we've had, they like the activities and that's all fine, but they're not like so focused and so in it. They
I feel
they
like they
want a
get
lot of
bored and they get
outside time.
distracted. Yeah.
yeah,
Like I feel like a lot
Yeah,
of gun dogs, like they need a lot of like resets and like a lot of like breaks
yeah,
and stuff like that.
they do,
yeah.
yeah. A lot of breaks
Thursday,
outside.
Yeah,
yeah, on
exactly.
Thursdays we have almost all gun dogs, almost all gun dogs, and like two herding dogs thrown in there.
They
I
love
think,
being outside.
and that's it. We'll do a game and then outside, and then a game and then outside. And right now we're struggling because it's so freaking hot. They go outside and they're like, "Wah!" Come back in. But that's
Hmm.
really
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, I think gun dogs are cool because they do teach us that lesson of like, and they're gonna teach it to you at an accelerated rate because their brains are just like blah 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 blah. Blah. So they're like the perfect example of what it is to like breed these dogs for things that don't exist anymore, put them out into our world, and then just slowly watch them go insane
Yeah.
and wonder
Yeah.
why.
Yeah.
And I think they show us like I need to be outside, I need to do this, I need to do that, and we just don't connect the dots.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we were talking about that before
True.
too. Like if you watch your dog, like really watch your dog, they're telling you everything they need. You just have to listen and try. I'm wrong sometimes. Like I'm thinking Jinx needs this, and then we try that, and she's still not satisfied. But if you try and then you figure it out, you learn their subtleties. But
Yeah.
yeah, and it's
consider.
interesting too, because I have to add with the gun dogs as well, you see a lot of them because they go crazy, they are getting shipped off to these training camps,
Yeah, I feel like that's
and a
like
lot of it is
majority gun dogs. Yeah.
Yeah.
because they're strong and they can be destructive, and so they go right to the boot camp type things where they're often using prong and shock collars. I don't think that works for them because you are just repressing all these natural things they need to do. We've seen that not work in so many cases. They come back from those camps and they are just broken dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to them. Why? Because I want to be outside and run and chase and do all this stuff. That's wrong. I have to go be in my place.
Yeah.
That must just be such a conflict in their
My
head. Like,
parents are sending me to camp. I'm gonna learn how to canoe, and I'm gonna have so much fun.
now if it was that kind of camp, they would probably
They
love
come
it.
back. I got lobotomized at camp for some reason.
I think.
I spent time in the hole. Do you know what the hole is?
Oh no.
Shout out to boot
It's just
camps.
interesting. It's just interesting.
Yeah,
There are
normalize
probably some
making
amazing ones.
camps better for dogs. Normalize making them more like a summer camp, like
Yeah.
a rehabilitative summer camp where they do learn to canoe and craft and
I
fish.
know a
Mhm.
couple that are very, very, very good, but I only know a couple.
No offense, you
Yeah.
guys.
We're not, we're just, we're,
We
we're
just
just saying
want,
what we see.
We just
yeah,
want
we just want to help dogs.
improvement.
This is what we see. We see these guys really struggle when they come back, especially in our environment where they are given as much freedom and choice as we can give them.
Yeah.
Um, and they just don't even know what to do with that. It's sad.
It is
But
sad.
so hang in
Uh,
there, gun dogs. You know,
Hang in
like
there, gun dogs.
We're
you'll
trying.
always be like one of the most popular family breeds, but the families need to be a little more hip to their
I
needs.
know because they are changing. So like I feel like people are getting golden retrievers being like, this is gonna be a great dog for my kids, and then they get like the modern day golden retriever and they're like, what
Mhm.
is this? Like
Who is this creature I've
I
invited
know.
into my
This dog
house?
is insane.
But how fun of a family activity could that be if you go on hikes or you just go down and do sniffy adventures together? I
Yeah.
mean, you exploit that, like have fun with that. And then we will go off and like all the doodles because okay, so your
Mhm.
doodles come from poodles, gun dogs, and then
Mhm.
you're blending in all these other gun dogs, golden doodles, labradoodles, but then the things that aren't even gun dogs mixed with a gun dog, which we kind of talked about
Yeah,
on
a little bit
another
before.
knowing your breeds. Yeah, it's like, gosh, there's just so much going on in those heads and potentially conflict of interest and conflict of what job am I supposed to be doing? So it's, you really got to pay attention and show up for your pup, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yourself. If you like really look into like your needs as a human and yourself, I feel like it's a lot easier to I mean, not that I have it all figured out. I'm a mess, but I feel like it's a lot easier to read into other beings that you're caring for, like, oh, my
Yeah.
needs are this, so their needs are probably similar or not even similar, but think
Yeah.
consider your needs, consider their needs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
There are a lot of similarities though, because we are beings who want fulfillment and purpose.
Yeah.
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 So do it together.
Do it
That's what I
together.
like. You always bring up the human part is really important too.
I like
Yeah.
to think.
She's a thinker.
she's a, she's a thinker.
Thank
Sometimes they
God.
don't make sense though. um, but yeah, I highly recommend that book. It's not. It's obviously not like a book about dogs, but
You can
um,
relate it though.
you can relate it to dogs, and I feel like that helps dog owners. If you can relate it to humans, then you can start to understand them a little bit more.
Yeah, I agree. I'll link that in the show
Empathy.
notes.
Hell yeah.
Empathy.
Empathy. That
All
was all I
right.
had. Oh, no, it's not all I had. I'm so sorry. I'll quickly run through things that I'm going to use Kim's list of why you would fall in love with them, list of why they'd be hard to live with, and some um behaviors you might need help with. Sorry, I totally forgot. I like derailed that whole thing.
Went
That's
on
all
a
right.
tangent there.
I
It was
went
a
on
nice
a
little journey.
And now we're
tangent.
back.
Yeah.
No,
Now we're
journey.
back. Welcome back, guys. Hope you enjoyed that.
That was a
Um,
good bathroom break for everybody.
Yeah, they're like,
There they
okay.
go.
everyone's like, "Oh my god, Elena's ranting and raving again."
They're letting
Snack,
they're letting the weird one
snacked and
talk
bathroom
again.
break.
They've let her out of her hole. Letting the weird
She
one
needed
talk.
some fresh air. Nature.
Who gave her a microphone? Anywho, some reasons why you might fall in love with your gun dog is he's enthusiastic, generally eager and willing to get on board with whatever the day brings, cooperative, team player at heart, made to be attentive, trainable, and responsive partner in life. They're outgoing, thanks to that little mutation. Their extroverted spirit, both with other people and with other animals. Um, some reasons you might find them hard to live with is, as we said, they're very active, very ambitious. They have a lot of athleticism. They have a lot of physical needs that are really intense. And when you come home after work, they can be a lot at the end of the day. Um, they can be immature. They have like a silly puppy nature that makes them playful, but it can also manifest as annoying. They have short attention spans. They can be really needy, impulsive, foolish, and sometimes insecure. Um, Doting. Many of us adore endless affections of our dogs, and that's why one of the reasons we get them. But they can be a little bit heavy-handed with it, and they might not be the best if you value your personal space. As I'm looking at the the picture above this one is just like I can put it up close, but it's this dog that's just like if you can see.
Yeah, makes sense.
I love
Yeah.
you. Um, you might find yourself seeking professional help for distractibility and impulsivity, um, overwhelming greeting behavior with people, like jumping and licking, destructiveness to your home or personal belongings, hyperactivity or restlessness, um, sensitivity to loud noises and storms. They can oftentimes have problematic oral fixations, including incessant ball pushing, for more rounds of fetch, sock hunting, and consumption. I saw a lot of x rays with gun dogs that had socks in them or
Interesting.
rocks.
Socks and rocks.
Interesting.
Socks, rocks, box. They also can self injure by licking too much. They can become I'm
Hot
same
spots.
as we were saying, hot spots. Yeah, like that impulse or not impulsive, but like the compulsive licking.
Yeah.
um, they have the "I'll never grow up" Peter Pan complex. Um, yeah, that was it. But I mean,
There you
things
go.
we've talked about. But that, yeah, that's gun dogs for you. They,
Sounds like a gun dog.
they just there's a lot going on in there. Some of
Yeah.
it's not so good,
Yeah, I
but
feel like gun dogs, I feel like a lot of people see them as like the easiest dogs, but like there is a lot going on in there.
there is a lot going on. It looks like there's not, but there is.
But there is.
There is. It's like,
Especially in the modern world.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
So, There you
So
go.
we conclude.
Yeah, those are our breed groups of the week. Stay tuned next week for our philosophical talks about natural dogs and guardian dogs, two of the other big ones.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll have a lot to say about that.
I'm
We will
sure
have a
we
lot to say
will.
about those.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks
Shall
for going on that ride with me.
Thanks for going on that spiritual
Anytime.
journey with us.
We're more than just dog people. It's
Yeah.
We are.
I feel like I'm sitting on my couch like I'm at my therapist's office. Like, it's just let's talk.
After that, I feel like we might need it.
Yeah, right.
This is a therapist's office. Come on.
And how
Basically.
does that make you feel? It is therapeutic just to talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we want to
Yeah.
hear from you. What questions, challenges, loves? What dogs are you in love with? What are your favorite breeds and why? I always find that fascinating. I always want to know like why you chose the dog that you chose. Or mixed, always mixed breeds. I don't even have a purebred dog, but what do you like about them? What are
Yeah.
those moments you're like, what was I doing when I brought this dog home? And how'd you get past it?
And
Do you
why are
also yearn
they
for the
a
trees?
terrier?
Yeah.
Why are they a terrier? I just see this scrappy little guy with like a little derby hat and a cigar hanging out of his mouth.
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah. Shout
gotta.
out to any scrappy terriers listening. Like, if your dog is named
No,
Scrappy, also let us know. And they're a terrier. And they ride
there's
in a
gotta be more.
sidecar.
Yeah.
I know, the
Bonus
ultimate
points.
dog.
If they fit all that criteria, let us know, please. Thank you.
I know. I would love to have a scrappy little terrier, but I just don't know how that would go over with my
May's a
border
bit of a
collie.
scrappy little terrier. She has scrappy terrier in her.
She pulls it
She
out every
does.
once in a while.
May has a
She
little bit
pulls
of
it out.
everything.
I mean, if she's bulldog mixed, then she would have terrier.
Maybe it's just a little smorgasbord of whatever.
Yeah. He's
She's
just
just a
cute
little
dog.
gremlin.
She is
Cute
just a little
dog.
gremlin. A cute little gremlin. Shout out to May.
Yes. I'll have her be a guest appearance one day when the chicken's not in the office with me.
Aw. Well,
Chicken.
with that, shall we?
We'll release everybody.
Go.
Thanks for hanging out with us on What Dogs Really Want. If you liked this episode, hit that follow button, leave a review or a comment, and share with someone whose dog might be trying to tell them something. If you have a myth you want busted or a behavior you are curious about, drop us a DM on Instagram at What Dogs Want, or send us a little voice memo and we will try to cover it in a future episode. Until next time, stay kind and curious and do fun stuff with your dog.
Perfect.
See ya.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.